You get into this project?
Well, this project started, it's just throughout my whole life, and it was something that I'm still kind of battling with. But it's about, my relationship with my mom, who is currently at the Ron Isley concert, which is crazy right now. So I said to say she'll be 75 next month, and to be on the other side of this hill of this journey is just more of a celebration thing. I can do, music and make songs in my sleep, but this film space is something, like I said, that I kind of researched and developed. And I was having these, phone calls, and, one conversation kind of led to another. And I was kind of expressing to him how I was trying to talk about things like this in a very artsy way, where it wasn't. When rappers do, we get typecast like many other people. So with rap, to me, it seems like rappers always try to kind of like out struggle each other, out poverty each other, something like that. And it's not so much of me celebrating poverty, but actually using what I've been through and being able to create it in a visual and an artful way, so I can kind of relieve some, I guess, demons or whatever that I'm dealing with. And like I said, when I was going through this process, I shared it with Omar, and he was kind of telling me the right way to write a script, because my script was like trash, like how I wrote it. I just know in my head it's like me and mom and whatever. So he just was really just been very helpful in the process of helping me get my idea and my story to fruition.
Omar, what type of game did you give Chainz in the script writing process?
Not much. I mean, he's a very profound writer, actually, and pays attention to detail. So it was more about the format, and as he said, we were just having conversations, and for me, ultimately, it's about that part of his journey is about the how and the why. People can be the way that they are, and I felt like I kept telling him, like, yo, this is very inspirational, because we see the finished product,
the result,
if you will.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a pathway through that, and so these are circumstances that many may be able to relate to. But as we continue on the journey of Red Clay, which we will do, we'll be able to unpack much more of it.
How did you two link to begin with, in terms of just sending ideas back and forth?
Good.
Your cousins? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys always know that?
We found out a few years ago, but like we didn't grow up together, but when we started talking, there was so many similarities, I don't know if you ever met someone like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just had so many similarities from past, present, and what we're trying to do for the future. So it just was something, that was probably, I don't know if this was destined to become out of our relationship. It did.
That's crazy. Chainz, this is something that you alluded to a little bit in your lyrics here and there over the years, but why was it so important for you to unpack it in this format versus on wax?
To unpack it in this format, I didn't want to have to keep it in a certain construct as far as like with bars and making it rhyme.
Yeah.
And is that me? Okay. Weeks. All right. So I wanted to show it in this kind of light, because, like I said, I wanted to be tasteful and creative, and I didn't want to put it in a music format where it seemed like I was trying to like get out some type of trauma porn or something, to where I was just talking about how poor I used to be, or selling crack, or whatever that was. And so this is still a way that I can incorporate my music through the films that I'm doing and through what I'm trying to express with Red Clay. because my lifestyle was it's obviously in my music, but I hadn't been this direct and this embarrassed in a very long time, let me say.
What were some of the inspirations that you took from like other films, if any, to when you were like thinking of the language for this?
Well, so I'm gonna explain this story. I compare this to my mixtape hustle because when I was doing music early on with my mixtape and everything, I would not listen to other rappers because I just wanted everything to solely be just my own ideas, my own experiences, and what I went through. And you know, after about, I don't know, my third or fourth album, I started listening to other people because I didn't want to get left behind with just certain cadences or what was going on in the street. So I would start listening to music. So I'm saying that to say that this is kind of like what I was saying earlier as far as my mixtape phase, where I'm not looking at anything, I'm not getting inspired off anything, I'm just being very, very vulnerable right now, you know what I'm saying? And just being true to myself. And I hope that that helps somebody, inspire somebody, or whatever that is. So I don't have like a comparable or a comp for it or anything. He's giving me a list of songs, not songs, but movies. He told me I need to watch Top Boy, right? Top Boy. I be saying Top Golf sometimes. Top Boy, Snowfall, Keisha. To my Snowfall. What's the other one y'all told me to watch?
It was a bunch of them.
There was one more. Somebody told me to watch Moonlight.
The Wire.
The Wire. Yeah, I was outside when The Wire was popping. I was outside, you know?
Fair enough.
I'm not gonna even play with you.
Gotcha.
I was had my own wire. When you get through.
The real art.
Yeah. No.
Well, all right, you got some homework. Can you guys talk about working with Tina and Chris and getting them on board to this, and especially that last scene, something like that, like preparing it, executing it?
Yeah, first of all, y'all make noise for Rutina.
Please, give it up.
So when I say I'm fully integrated into the whole process, even through the casting process, I'm going through every email, every
Headshot.
every headshot, every what is it, like a casting video? You didn't have a real one, but a reel. All right, and then so I saw Christopher's reel, and I was just going really old. So we would get like all these names in a group chat, and he would watch it first and then spoil it. Like, here's man, I'm telling you, he hard. He just kind of like sway stuff. So he before I even saw your shit, he was like, I'm telling you, that boy Christopher, he got something. So I was like, man, let me just, you know what I'm saying, see it. And then when I saw it, I didn't want him to be right, but he was absolutely right? And then I get all these, I got another casting reel just full of people that was gonna play like my mom or somebody, and I went through a bunch of them, and then I saw her, and we got on the phone, and our conversation took us some places, and it was wild for that to be our first conversation, to unpack a lot of the similarities that we had, and she just kind of, I guess, trusted the direction that I was, because I'm sure it's crazy for a rapper to be talking about this type of stuff that's away from like a video or that type of thing, but I just want to tell you in front of everybody that I appreciate both of you guys. It really messed me up. It's just that from the kitchen scene on, it kind of it tear me up every time. But I appreciate y'all for, being vulnerable with me, coming on this ride with me, because I just feel like it's some good things about to happen, with this whole thing. So I just want to tell y'all thank you.
Rutina, you've been a part of so many classic projects. What was it like coming aboard with Chainz on his first time doing this? But clearly he had like a vision he wanted to get out.
It was wonderful. I mean, I read the script, and it is a story that's very close to home for me, and it was a challenge for me because I've never played a role like that for very, very good reasons. But I was like, now's the time. Now's the time to go there. He created, Chainz and Omar created like a safe space for us to really just get in there and do the work. And me and Chris hit it off right away with jokes and stuff. Like we just kind of hit it off. And I think that made it easy for us, when you see that scene, for us to really kind of connect in a very deep way with each other. So I was proud to be a part of it, and proud to do something that I haven't done that was really challenging me, for sure. Yeah.
Can you and Chris talk about filming that last scene in the kitchen too, which I'm glad we all got to see, because that's really the linchpin of the whole short.
I did. So I cleared the whole set. I said, everybody out. We gotta work here. And everyone was so gracious and walked out and let us sort of rehearse for a little bit, just so me and Chris could just connect with each other. And then by the time they came back in, we were in it. And it didn't matter how many people were in that little kitchen that we were in. Me and him were like locked in. And you're also a very generous actor too. So I want to say that. I just love working with you. You make it very easy.
Don't make me cry.
So I'm serious.
This is what I want to say. First off, I want to say thank you, O, for your transparency on set and not withholding information. You know, step into an arena with giants who have accomplished major things, people who have literally raised you, who you grew up watching, being inspired by them. It was refreshing for you to not only give feedback, but give positive reassurance that we were going in the right direction. So I want to say thank you for that. Big dog. When we started filming the scene in the kitchen, I think we went through a rehearsal and then we got one take up. And I immediately came to Video Village because I knew that that moment specifically was very important to you. And you were kind of emotional, which that was the first time that I had seen you over the whole course of shooting. This was the last day, and you were kind of emotional. And your statement was, man, this shit crazy, man. I never thought I'd see this shit on camera, man. And as painful, and I can't say that I had that experience, but I can say, being an empathetic actor, stepping in your shoes in that moment, your world kind of made sense to me for a second. And I just want to say thank you for how graceful you are and how you carry yourself every second on set. And you are the definition of a leader, and we would not have made it without you. And this story is special, and I'm in it for the long haul. So thank you very much.
One of the other creative decisions that I liked that you guys did was keeping O off screen for the cult. What went into that decision?
Well, he wanted me to do it, and I wanted him to do it. So we paper, scissors, rock. Neither one of us did this to try to be on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, with the process that it was taking me, through, and just looking at people do what they do at their very best and high level, I just wanted to just be a student.
Yeah.
The whole time. And so even with something as small but very detailed as that phone call, because my dad was the one that would just tell me all the time, like, a woman can't raise a man, but he would not be around. And my mom used to get pissed off because sometimes, he just used to talk so loud. But it's just like an old kind of way of thinking sometimes,
right.
Versus a new way. Obviously I'm in my kid's life, and not to say that he wasn't in my life, but when he was incarcerated for a lot of it, there was no way he could be right there. And so that was like one of the things that, it's like little points, on this timeline that I think about, and that phone conversation. Something about that phone conversation is the fact that he says, a woman can't raise a man. And to this day, my mom, she kind of my father's gone or whatever, but she's still like turned up off there. Like, I think I did a good job. What you think? What is that? Hey, like, Mom, it's okay.
Clearly she did, clearly.
But yeah, man, I don't know, you know, it's a relationship, it's something that we talk about and deal with, but I don't know if we unpacked it all in, you know, one place. And so, like, you know, these two, and even Jalen, who played Bubs, the light-skinned kid, he was 15.
Yeah.
And he had never, his reel was on an iPhone, and I just saw something pure with him and just his, I don't know if it was his mom pushing him or him, but we went through many different actors, and he just fit the puzzle so well. So I'm just very proud of everybody who had something to do with the production, to obviously, you know, the design, the cinematography is great. My director, Christopher Jones, who's from Atlanta as well, we bonded. It's just a lot about curating, you know what I'm saying? And I think I'm cool at curating. So once I was able to curate a dope cast, a dope script, you know what I'm saying, dope people on set, it was really like easy to get it done.
You also curated a good soundtrack, because I mean, walking out to that Jeezy song, that immediately, like,
Yeah.
it's like a time travel moment.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
the classic 8-Ball and MJG.
Yeah. Well, you know, those are some of my favorite songs and some of my favorite artists as well. And some of the things that we used to listen to when I was outside hustling and things like that.
Or, oh, what kind of advice did you give during that phone call scene with Chris?
I mean, I was just, I was watching, you know. I think he's super talented, and I've been a big fan of Rutina, so it was just more about, it's not about giving advice, it's more about being of service,
Yeah.
right? And giving him whatever he needed, you know, to emotionally be in that moment, right? Kind of like what Chainz just explains is sort of what Look is carrying in that moment, like, you know, a man trying to bother you, but he's not present, you know, and then also to see Rue come in the end and sort of, which I think is so beautiful, it's just the punctuation of that, right? Like, how does the mother deal with the totality of all of that in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, it was just about being of service. Yeah.
I want to open it up to the audience if there's any questions you guys have right over there.